I have a name, you have a name, everyone has a name. My name is Elizabeth, but Beth is what I go by. If you go by a name or nickname, people know to call you that name. His name is Philip, but he goes by Phil. You can also take a name. For example, when you get married, you might take your partner's name. She was Amy Smith, but she took her husband's name. Now she's Amy Scott. Now when Amy Scott signs her name, she has to remember to write it correctly. Can you sign your name here, please? If a name rings a bell, you've heard it before, but you can't remember why. Do you remember Mr. Hill? The name rings a bell, but I can't remember who he is. We are BBC Learning English. Remember our name so you can always learn more with us.
Get with the program. Learn some verbs you can use with the noun program. The first step to set up a program is to plan it. Drawing up a program means designing it. When you agree on the program, everyone thinks the same way about it. We could set up a research program to look at this question. It took a long time to draw up the course program and even longer to agree on it. Next, you launch your program. That means start it. We run a program when we manage it or make it happen. We offer a program when we make it available. We decided to run a support program. We'll launch it next month. The university offers a part-time program. You enroll on a program when you join it. Then you're following a program. You complete a program when you get to the end of it. I've been following this program for nearly a year. I enrolled on it in September. I'll get a job after I complete the program. We've drawn up this program of videos. We hope you enjoy following it and that you find it helpful.
We hope you're ready to learn because we mean business. If you mean business, you are serious and determined about what you're doing. Meet Barbara. She works in business. It's the area of work she does. I'm an operations analyst and my husband is an auditor. We work in business. Now meet Joshua. He's set up a business. That means he's prepared, planned, and now has a business. I've set up a bakery. I make and sell cakes and bread. He's the owner, but he's also running the business. That means he's managing it and working in it. Unfortunately, his customers aren't very happy. £10 for a loaf of bread? You're going to go out of business with those prices. If you go out of business, you don't make enough money and you have to close down. Poor Joshua.
We're full of hope that you'll learn verbs that go with hope in this lesson. If you are full of hope, you really want something to happen or believe that it will. Zoe didn't know if the interview had gone well or not, but she was full of hope. If you express hope, it means you tell somebody the thing you want to happen. Zoe expressed hope to her mum that she would get the job. You can bring somebody hope or give someone hope. That means you encourage and share the hope of the person you're with. Zoe's mum gave her hope. You're brilliant no matter what the outcome, she said. If you live in hope, you hope for something, even if you know it probably won't happen. Zoe didn't get the job, but she lives in hope. I hope I've brought you some hope for your English today.
Let me give you some examples of verbs to use with example. We give an example or provide an example if we tell it to someone or put it in our writing. I'll give you an example of why I'm annoyed. I can provide you with some examples of my work so you can see what I can do. You might be trying to find examples that show something's true when you're doing research. You can take something as an example when you think it shows something. I found many examples of this problem in the data. We can take this song as an example of traditional music. We often include examples in an argument. When you cite examples, you say that they support your argument. Drawing from examples means using examples to make an argument. I've included examples of waste. I can cite all of them to show why we're losing money. I've drawn from a range of examples to show why this is a problem. We've provided some examples of verbs to use with example. Have you found any others?
How much information can you store in your brain? Let's test it. Storing information means you keep it in a place where you can find it and use it later. The hospital stores all the information in locked cupboards, but they should really start storing it digitally for extra security. If you need information from somewhere, you can ask for or request the information. Then they can decide to withhold the information, to not give it to you, or disclose the information, to give it to you. The scientist requested information from her colleague, but he said it was too early to disclose the information, so he withheld the information. If you really need information, you can dig up the information. Make an effort to go and find it yourself. Imagine digging to find gold. Mike dug up some information about his ancestors to draw his family tree. Well done for digging up this information today.
Wait, I've got a plan. Let's learn verbs to use with plan. Before you can have a plan, you need to make one or develop one. You devise a plan or formulate a plan when you think about it a lot. I asked Maria to develop a plan for tomorrow's project. She spent all day devising one. We've carefully formulated a plan to get more clients. Next, it's time to implement your plan. That means start doing it. We can also say we go ahead with a plan. We press ahead with a plan if we're starting or continuing a difficult plan. We're going ahead with plan B. It's easier to implement. You need to press ahead with the recovery plan. If it doesn't work, you can drop a plan. You can also scrap a plan. They just mean stop. You can shelve a plan if you might come back to it later. We need to drop the plan. Results are bad. Do you want to scrap the plan or just shelve it?
Jump in the back and let's talk about verbs that go with car. If you jump in the car, you get in. If you jump out, you get out. This is informal. Hey, jump in, let's go. You can go or travel by car. You're travelling to Australia by car from London. Isn't that a bit far? To go backwards, you reverse the car or back the car up. We missed the turning. Can you back up? If someone else is driving a bit slowly, you might overtake them in order to be in front of them. I'm going to overtake this car. He's driving so slowly. But be careful. In wet conditions, a car can slip or skid on the road. Hopefully it won't crash. He crashed his car after skidding on the ice. Watch more English in a minute later, but not while driving the car.
Let's learn verbs commonly used with the word market. If we put something on the market, it means we make it available for sale. I want to sell my house, but I haven't put it on the market yet. Next, if a company wants to expand their customer base, they might want to break into new markets, to enter new markets, often with difficulty. It took years of research for the brand to finally break into the European market. Companies must then supply the market with their products, provide the necessary amount of a product to meet demand. The farm supplies the local market with fresh vegetables every week. But too much of a product can flood the market. When there is too much of a product, then people can buy. Cheap laptops have flooded the market, so no one's making a profit. There's a big market for English learning materials. Why not choose ours?
Do you have any idea how many verbs you can use with idea? There are a lot. You can have an idea, which we often say when you're suddenly inspired. Or you can have no idea, which means you don't know. What time does the show start? I have no idea. I have an idea. Let's call and ask. If an idea pops into your head, you suddenly have an idea. Ooh, an idea just popped into my head. We could go to that Chinese restaurant before the show. If you dream up an idea, you have a silly or unusual idea. Trust you to dream up an idea like that. We're vegetarian, we don't eat chicken. You can put forward an idea, which means suggest an idea. This is often used in a more formal context, like work. I'd like to put forward an idea, if I may. We could hire a freelancer for the graphics. Can you dream up or put forward an idea of what word we can look at next time?